Howdy, John O'Connell here with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension and Texas Sea Grant. As part of Path to the Plate, I'm going to be preparing blackened fish fillets and blackened shrimp. So this is a really easy recipe. You may be aware that blackened redfish was all the craze many years ago, but you can do this recipe yourself at home. Now I'm going to do it outside in a cast iron skillet, just because of the smoke and the peppers and the spices that as they blacken and sear, they may cause smoke. So you may not want to do this particular grilling inside unless you have a really strong vent hood. So my blackened, this is very simple. We have 2 pounds of fish fillets. That's what the recipe calls for, but in this case I'm only going to do about 3/4 of a pound. And then I have a pound of shrimp, which are peeled and headed and deveined, so they're ready to go. And what I'm going to do is take my melted margarine and I'm going to apply to the shrimp and to the fish on both sides, and then I'm going to sprinkle each liberally with the blackened seasoning. So you might be asking yourself, what's in that blackened seasoning? Well, it is pretty easy. There's a tablespoon of salt, there's a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon black pepper, 3/4 of a teaspoon white pepper, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a half a teaspoon of dried thyme leaves, and a half a teaspoon of oregano leaves, 1 tablespoon of paprika. So I've actually tripled that recipe just because I like to have some around the house, but it's enough to make 2 pounds of fish fillets if that's what you have at the house or need to prepare. If not, it'll keep there in your pantry and you can use it whenever you need to. So now I'm going to apply the margarine to the other side of the shrimp and then also apply it to my fish fillets. Now this particular fish is just fish you can buy in the grocery store. I bought individual portions where they're each sealed in their own plastic bag, so you can take out 1 portion and thaw it in the refrigerator, and then when you're ready to eat it, just season it and cook it however you like. Blacken it or bake it or broil it or pan fry it, pan sear it. It can be prepared in many different ways. Those fillets coated with margarine, and then I'm going to take my seasoning mix, and I just am reusing a container of spice container, and then I'm going to sprinkle it on top. And what you want to do is once you sprinkle on top, you want to kind of press it in. So I'm pressing it down into the fillet, making sure that it adheres to it. I wish you could smell it because it's really smelling good on my side over here with all those delicious spices. And here again, I'm just going to use my gloved hand to flip these to be quick about it, and then we'll be ready to get out on the grill and blacken these up. Alright, that's all there is to it. I'll see you at the grill. And I have my cast on skillet here. I added some butter to it and it's melted and hopefully it's heated up pretty good. I'm going to take my shrimp, throw them in there. Now, shrimp only need to cook for a small amount of time. Most people tend to overcook shrimp, but in reality, it's literally maybe a minute per side. And when the shrimp are ready, you still want them to be tender. And I'm just going to kind of tilt this, make sure they get there. Get some butter under them. Now remember, inside, I went ahead and coated the shrimp with margarine as well. But this will keep them from sticking. So we'll let them cook for about another 30 seconds. And then I'll turn them and let them go for about a minute. And then we'll take them off and see how they turned out. And I'll come right back in with my fillets, my fish fillets, and we'll do that as well. Now the nice thing is you can always sprinkle a little more of that blackened seasoning on top of them if you like a little, if some of it comes off during the cooking process. So we'll let them go for about a minute, and then we'll take them off, and then I'm put my fish fillets on next. The other thing too is shrimp continue to cook. That's why you don't want to cook them 5 minutes per side, because they will continue to cook until they cool down. And so hopefully they'll be just perfect when I take them off the grill and let them sit while I cook up the fish. And these are actually looking really good. So I'm going to start pulling these up now. And then we'll get our fish going. And that will be our blackened fish and shrimp. Now, the shrimp you can either serve on a bed of rice with a vegetable side, or if you like, you can take them and cut them up and make shrimp tacos and blackened shrimp tacos. And those are actually really good too. So I have all my shrimp off. Now I'm going to get my fillets, my fish fillets. So I've got my fish fillets here. And let's see. I'll go ahead and put the first one on. May have to cook these by themselves. General rule of thumb when you're cooking fish is that you go about a minute per inch of thickness. So in this case, the maximum thickness on this particular fillet is probably about 3/4 of an inch. So here again, I'm not cooking them for a very long time at all. But that's the key to cooking fish or shrimp, is that you don't cook it a long time. It's not like like beef or pork. A lot of times the sides will lift, and that will be an indication that it's ready to be turned. You're going to want to cook fish until the meat is flaky. You take a fork and you would just pry up a little bit of the flesh, the cooked flesh, to make sure it flakes easily. And that's a technique you can use with any type of fish that you cook, no matter the method of cooking that fish. So I went in and flipped that fillet. It's looking good. All right, so my fillet is ready. I'm going to pull it off, put it on my serving tray over here out of direct heat. Kind of keep it warm, and then I'm going to come back in with my other fillet and blacken that up for us, and then that's going to be our blackened fish fillets and blackened shrimp.